Hello, my name is Rhiannon Clay, and I did my paper on SHIELD as an organization and like sense making theory. SHIELD is an acronym. SHIELD is a part of the Marvel Universe, and the acronym stands for Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement, Logistic Division. So it is a super spy organization that is kind of like the defenders of the universe, mostly Earth, but the universe because of Endgame as well. So it's like aliens, new technology, cosmic powers, like WandaVision, stuff like that. Um, and it is going to be comprised of people such as the Iron Man, Captain America, Winter Soldier, um, Black Widow, the Hulk, Spider Man, people like that. It is a Marvel organization, it is fictional. Um, so I chose to focus on Carl Weick's sense making theory, and it is essentially like making sense and then kind of putting things into framework. And sense making is an ongoing process; it is continual. So it was kind of hard to use this theory just because I feel like this mentioned in one of the papers, the research papers that I had referenced in this for my literature review, but it is pretty vague. And I chose this just because I feel like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. do use sense making, but it is kind of hard to put into words just because, like I said, it is very, very vague. So it's kind of like a lot of interpretation, even though part of sense making is that it's not synonymous with interpretation, but I feel like it is just because there's not really much about it. Even in the textbook, there's a little bit, but there's not a lot. And when it comes to research papers and scholarly journals and articles, I feel like there is not a big amount. So I chose this. I chose Shield just because I like Shield. I think that it's worth studying just because it's such. Even though it is fictional, it's such like a strong organization, and the fact that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, people depend on Shield for safety, and that there is of course these levels of power, and how does Shield go about making said decisions when it comes to protecting the universe, and how do they and like how do they decide to do this? How do they know what to do? Like how would they know who to attack, where to attack, and things like that? I just think that it should be studied, and that did lead me to ask questions such as how is Shield utilizing Weick's sense making theory effectively? And also, my second research question was just asking kind of the same question, but it's more or less asking how Nick Fury uses the sense making theory effectively. So I do want to just go over my research questions again and go into more depth. My first research question is asking how does SHIELD effectively utilize Weick's sense making theory? And then my second question is asking how does Nick Fury alone utilize Weick's sense making theory? So some of my findings were just so first I had to of course research Weick's sense making theory and kind of the components of it. And also I did have to first so I had to first research that, and then also kind of go into what Shield is, and then also like the hierarchy at Shield, which is like Nick Fury, and then it would be the superheroes, and then the other agents, like the low level ones who don't have powers. They're not really low level, but they're not superheroes. They're not Captain America. They're not Iron Man. And then so Nick Fury is going to be in charge of everybody, and then it's like I said, it's like a hierarchy. And then I had to go into the everyday practices of SHIELD, which includes like the debriefing that they do, the training, gathering information, like intel and stuff like that. And then also like the surveillance, because obviously they have to find whatever issue that they're having. They would have to go and find the like if 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 there's like alien invasion, they have to find where the aliens are invading. Is it in New York City? Is it in Singapore? Is it in LA? They have to find where they're going to invade or where they are invading, and then they have to, of course, make their way over there. And then I had to, of course, go over the values that S.H.I.E.L.D. has, like teamwork, reliability, strength, and courage. I think to be a superhero and even to be an agent at S.H.I.E.L.D., you have to have a lot of courage, because to have to face some of the things that they have to deal with, if that was actually happening, I'd be a normal civilian. I'd be like, that's you guys' issue, not mine. I could not do it, so I do commend them, even if it is fictional. And then I did also go into the significance of S.H.I.E.L.D. and why it's so important in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just because it is kind of realistic. To me, S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of like the military, even though they do have the military in the movies. S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of like the military, and it is significant in the universe just because they do protect, like I said, like they protect the entire universe. They're the ones who reversed what Thanos had done to people. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is very, very important. And then, so some of the framework that I had was I kind of just went over what sense making was, and how there's different components and how they use these components. I just wanted to point out that so just to start, when it comes to this, it's like just because sense making is retrospective, S.H.I.E.L.D. does use like their past experiences in order to become better fighters. Like for instance, they might use their past, because like when it comes to the thing with Thanos, after Thanos had snapped his fingers, they had to kind of go back and time travel in order to collect all the Infinity Stones to prevent Thanos. So I was just speaking about how they had used retrospective thinking, and that helped them out. And then also they do realize that this is kind of a continual process. There's always going to be an ongoing issue, whether it be from Thanos, Ultron, the Winter Soldier, Loki, Wanda. It doesn't matter who it is, there is going to be a continuous issue that is going on. And then also that also leads them to continue to adapt their knowledge. And then also the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are very focused on enactment. They do a lot of things in order to prevent, and they also are very reactive as well. They're proactive and reactive. Sometimes they'll send out task force early and things like that in order to help people, and that goes hand in hand with like sense making theory, just because there is its enactment, so selection and then retention. So they're going out there and they're dealing with the issues, and then they're selecting said issues, and then they're selecting what they want to take from whatever issue has arisen. So they want to take certain things that they learned from that, and then they're going to retain that information, and then they're going to improve their technologies, their fighting skills and things like that, and that leads them to be better fighters and better protectors of the universe and the Earth. And then the critical theory that I applied, so I just basically used examples from the films, which helped me kind of answer the research questions. And I went into how, like Hydra and Bucky Barnes, and how when that happened, S.H.I.E.L.D. had to rethink their organization, kind of go underground, kind of go into hiding, and then have to come back out of that in order to beat Hydra, just because Hydra was infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. And then I also talked about how there is like collective thinking again, how S.H.I.E.L.D. will come together, all the heroes will come together, and then they'll devise a plan using their past experiences in order to successfully protect the planet. And then the patterns that they identify. So because they knew about Thanos and where he got the Infinity Stones from, they were able to go back in time in order to get those Infinity Stones, in order to prevent and reverse what had happened. And then also S.H.I.E.L.D. is very, very strong in their identity. So like I said, going back to the Hydra situation, Nick Fury had to kind of rethink how he was going to do things, and that led them to have a stronger identity with S.H.I.E.L.D. because they were able to kind of regroup and reassess what was going on and then come back stronger after they had beat Hydra. So for my 2 suggestions in order to improve the organization, for me, one of them would be to put one of the superheroes in Nick Fury's position, just because while Nick Fury was once more active, currently, or even in like 2019 when movies are coming out, I think that it would be smart for them to put in a person like Black Widow or someone like that in order to kind of help them out, or not help them out, but also put in her input. I think that she would be a good leader, just because she has been in the field recently and has a little bit more of experience. And then secondly, it would be to also take more advice from the lower level agents, just because they could also provide good input. And then that's it. Thank you so much for listening.